Okay, så er vi her. We are here. Velkommen tilbage. Welcome back. Vi skal endnu en gang kigge i et dokument. Let me just do this. I gotta hear my own voice in a fairly normal way. Ja, så endnu en gang skal vi kigge i et dokument. We're gonna look in this document, and I was thinking that so many of you have problems with inversion, and I don't blame you because it's really annoying, but it's not really that complicated. It's just you gotta practice, you gotta understand, and then you gotta practice. So I made a video a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago. It's 45 minutes long, but apparently it wasn't enough. So today I'm going to make some sentences in real time. I'm gonna watch the live chat on my phone, so whatever you guys say, I can see it, and then we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, this is very important, because I know this is the mistake that everybody is struggling with. Everybody is struggling with this thing, no matter who you are, like your nationality. So yeah. So basically, some of these sentences will be where I'm gonna complete them, and others will be where there's some mistakes, and yeah, you'll see there's a lot of stuff we're gonna do today. So something important with inversion is understanding conjunctions. Okay? So conjunction, or bindeord, as they're called in Danish, is something like when, if, because, even though, before, after, that type of stuff. Right? You see the examples here in Danish. It's very important that you know what conjunction is, because that plays a big role in verb inversion, and today I'm mainly going to focus on verbs. So the first sentence, når jeg hører den sang, when I hear that song. Okay, then we have to finish that sentence. The question is there inversion or not? That's what I want to know. Can you guess if this sentence needs inversion or not? Når jeg hører den sang. Okay. So let's say, what could the meaning be? Like, when I hear that song, I feel happy, or something like that. It's a good classic. You would say, bliver jeg glad. Like that. Når jeg hører den sang, bliver jeg glad. Bliver jeg glad. Why? Because you start with conjunction. You start with the conjunction, you gotta have inversion in the second part. Right? Another way to remember that is, if the first sentence, or the first part of the sentence, når jeg hører den sang, feels kind of incomplete, right? It's like, when I hear that song, you're like, yeah, then what? What's the conclusion? What happens? You're like, okay, there's gotta be inversion. That is the essence when you're dealing with conjunction and inversion. So conjunctions, and inversion. So når jeg hører den sang, bliver jeg glad. Ikke? Because når is a conjunction, you gotta have a verb here. Alright, cool. Når jeg hører den sang, bliver jeg glad. What about this one? Hvis det begynder at regne. If it starts raining, what could you say? Hvis det begynder at regne, maybe you'll go home. Eh? How do you say go home in Danish? Like, I'm just... Hvis det begynder at regne, går jeg hjem. Eh? Hvis det begynder at regne, går jeg hjem. Again, because this is a conjunction, and therefore you gotta have inversion. Right? Hvis det begynder at regne, går jeg hjem. And some of you might be thinking, oh, but Thomas, then there are sentences where you don't start with this or no. You don't start with a conjunction, then there's no inversion, right? Yeah, you're right, there's not, but we'll get to that later. For now, we're dealing with the sentences where you start with a conjunction, and that is where you have inversion. It's so important. Okay, så hvis det begynder at regne, går jeg hjem. Okay. Fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu. Now that's longer, but it's not that hard. Fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu. Because I'm thinking about my dog right now. Right, so here we're starting with fordi. Now those of you who already know this word fordi, you might be used to saying something fordi, like I do this because. But sometimes you can actually start with fordi. Right? It just has a different emphasis. So, fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu. What could be an outcome? Fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu. I kind of want to buy something. Yeah, I want to buy something for it. Får jeg lyst til at købe noget til den? Nej. Fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu, får jeg lyst til at købe noget til den. I come to want, and like it makes me wanna, but I come to want literally buy something for it. I want to buy something for my dog. And once again, you have the verb here, for, and for get. So fordi, conjunction, jeg tænker på min hund lige nu, får jeg lyst til at købe noget til den. Nice. And that's what it is. Do not say, fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu, jeg får lyst til at købe noget til den. No, no, no. You gotta have the verb first. Ikke? For is a verb, jeg is a subject, ikke? Or as a personal pronoun, but is the subject in this case. Så får jeg lyst til at købe noget til den. It's very important because many learners, they struggle. You might know the rules, but they kind of forget them when they actually have to speak. So, a lot of practice. Okay, what about this one? Oh, let me just keep an eye on the live chat. Yeah. We have Andreas Bøtker saying, jeg bliver glad, når jeg hører den sang er uden inversion. Yeah, it is, because in that case, nor is in the middle. Right? So you're right, Andreas. That's how you say it. Okay. Da hun smagte maden, when she tasted the food. Yeah, what could you say? When she tasted the food, maybe she got like surprised. Like, oh, it's actually really good. Yeah. Or maybe she was impressed. Yeah. Da hun smagte maden, blev hun imponeret. Okay? She was impressed. She got impressed. Da hun smagte maden, blev hun imponeret. Because da, when, in the past, is a conjunction. Right? Very important to remember that. Da hun smagte maden, blev hun imponeret. And this is like one of the main things you want to remember. Okay, let's go down to selvom. What does selvom mean? It means even though or although. Right? Selvom. Selvom vores forældre er gamle. Vores forældre means parents. Right? Selvom vores forældre er gamle, gamle means old in the plural. And so even though our parents are old, what could they be? They could be doing something wild. Maybe they're playing football, whatever. So play football, what is that? What is play? What is football? Selvom vores forældre er gamle, spiller de fodbold. Right? Selvom vores forældre er gamle, spiller de fodbold. It's the same thing. Right here, ikke? Spiller is a verb. Spiller de fodbold. Easy. Let's do one with efter and then one with før. So let's see. Efter. Efter hun kom hjem. What does that mean? Efter hun kom hjem. After she came home. She came home, then what? Maybe she opened something. Yeah, she opened a bag of candy. Yeah, maybe licorice. Åbnede hun en slikpose. Sorry, not hus. Åbnede hun en slikpose. Okay, so after she came home, she opened a bag of candy. That's that. Åbnede hun. I hope by now you understand what a conjunction is. I made a video just about conjunctions. It's like the same 10 or 11 conjunctions that you see here, but that's because they're the most popular ones. So really try to understand and keep in mind what a conjunction does. It's usually something to connect two sentences, two statements. But when you start with a conjunction, then you get inversion in the second part, after the comma. That's that. Okay, så efter hun kom hjem, åbnede hun en slikpose. Very nice. Okay, then we got something with før. Før jeg blev ansat her. That's a little bit more advanced maybe. Not advanced, a little more difficult for some of you. Før jeg blev ansat her. What is that? Før jeg blev ansat her. Before I was hired here. Before I got hired. At ansætte, to hire. Yeah, or employed, I guess you could translate it as. Før jeg blev ansat her. Maybe he or she was unemployed right? Or maybe they're very lazy. Yeah, let's go with lazy. Lazy is doven, right? Var jeg så doven? Yeah. Før jeg blev ansat her, var jeg så doven. And of course, remember that var is also a verb. At være, to be, jeg er, I am, jeg var, I was, and so on. So it's still a verb. Før jeg blev ansat her, var jeg så doven. I was so lazy. Okay? So, now you got a bunch of examples. You got når, hvis, fordi, da, selvom, efter, før. There's more. There's also mens, imens, and of course there are many more. But I would say these are the most important ones. And I wrote them here, so when you have the document, those of you that have it, you can look at that and you can make your own copy and make some sentences. It's a little practice. Alright? Yeah. Now, what I want to look at now, you know what, let me just move this to the next page. That'll look, yeah, that's better. Okay, so what you got here is something that doesn't quite look right. I think you can tell already. These sentences, let's take a look, okay? So, da var jeg ung, jeg elskede tegnefilm. Da var jeg ung, jeg elskede tegnefilm. Supposed to mean, when I was young, I loved cartoons. Yeah, maybe we should say barn, because ung is like teenager or something, or young adult. Da jeg var barn. But of course there's a big problem here. And maybe in the live chat you can figure it out. If you're watching this later, you can be like, yeah, Thomas, I know what the problem is. Because it's kind of staring you in the face. Da var jeg barn. That is really not correct. You don't want to say that. Of course, what you gotta do is say, da jeg var barn. You gotta take this var and then say, adios, goodbye. And then move it over here. So it's not really goodbye. Da jeg var barn. Right? You have the subject, the person doing it, jeg in this case, have coming before the verb. Right? Da jeg var. Some people will hear about inversion and they'll be like, okay, I'll just put inversion in the first part. No, inversion is in the second part. And in this case, if someone made a sentence like this, which is something I see almost every week, it would be like double wrong. The first part would be wrong. Ikke? Da var jeg wrong. Jeg elskede wrong. It's of course, da jeg var barn, elskede jeg tegnefilm. Right? Like that. So yeah, it's same as before, but now I'm kind of highlighting it by showing you the very common mistakes that a lot of learners make. Okay, so that one is fixed. I don't have any cool emojis here, so I'm just gonna put these, and that's enough to show that it's been fixed. Okay, selvom du klog, han klogere end dig. Selvom du klog, han klogere end dig. Supposed to mean, even though you're smart, he is smarter than you. Okay, selvom du klog. That ain't right. That is weird. Selvom du klog. Now, you probably sense the pattern already, so maybe this is easy for you. Selvom du klog. Right? Selvom du klog. Han klogere end dig. That's not right. That's not proper. You would of course say, han klogere end dig. Right? Inversion in the second part. I'm saying it so many times to really drill it into your heads, because one thing is to understand the logic and the rule and the structure, another one is to remember it. You might have a nightmare. Maybe tomorrow you're going to wake up like, God damn it, Thomas, I dreamt about inversion. But that's fine, because some things, they really have to be drilled into you. So that was the second one. Selvom du klog, han klogere end dig. It has been fixed. Nice. Okay, so we move on. Hvis har du tid, du skal hjælpe mig. What is that about? Hvis har du tid, du skal hjælpe mig. It's of course, hvis du har tid. Let's do it the other way this time. Skal du hjælpe mig. Ej? Hvis du har tid, skal du hjælpe mig. If you have time, you gotta help me. That's that. Okay? So, it's not really that hard. Like, at least learning inversion with conjunctions, it's not that hard. You might think it is. I think tell me if I'm wrong, but I kind of get the impression that learners talk to each other and then they all kind of agree that yeah, inversion sucks and there's just no way to master it. But then you reinforce that belief and it becomes sort of accepted and okay not to master it. Of course you can say anything is okay, nobody's gonna imprison you for it, but it's like, why not? You know, why not try to understand this? It's not really that hard. Yeah. Alright, cool. So that was that. And then we have something interesting. Here we have something else that's not conjunctions. It's regular adverbs. Well, adverbs is of course a very big category. I like to say words that spice up the meaning. So like, of course, unfortunately, fortunately, that type of stuff. Right? So we got some options here, and then you can guess which one is correct. Selvfølgelig elsker hun ham, or selvfølgelig hun elsker ham. And the meaning is, of course, she loves him. Selvfølgelig elsker hun ham. Selvfølgelig hun elsker ham. Now, which one is correct? The first one, Selvfølgelig elsker hun ham, because you have inversion when you start with an adverb. That's a rule of thumb. There are some exceptions, but if it's not a conjunction, it's another adverb. Anything adding flavor or spice, location. It's about time, location, or luckily, unfortunately, of course, maybe, naturally, possibly, all these kinds of things. Then you have inversion. Therefore, selvfølgelig elsker hun ham. Now, there's one thing I have to say. You might hear Danish people say, selvfølgelig hun elsker ham, but then it's because that's two separate sentences or statements. Selvfølgelig, or maybe like this. That's okay because you can say selvfølgelig on its own, and sometimes you can do that with these adverbs. But generally speaking, if you're making like a normal sentence, you gotta have inversion. Selvfølgelig elsker hun ham. Der. Okay, moving on. This is the same thing going on. Desværre sker det alt for ofte. Desværre det sker alt for ofte. Unfortunately, it happens way too often. Desværre sker det alt for ofte. Desværre det sker alt for ofte. If you're like most learners, you might be tempted to say desværre det sker, and that's because most other languages don't have inversion. But of course, the right answer is this. Right? Desværre sker det alt for ofte. Right? So that's what it is. You really want to think about like, what is an adverb? Like, what is something to do with location or time or flavor? Like something that is not a noun, not an adjective, not a verb. That's roughly speaking how you can understand it. Heldigvis han god til sit job. Heldigvis han god til sit job. What you gonna do? What you gonna do about this? Heldigvis han god til sit job. I don't think I need to drag it out this time because it's getting easy. The more you see, the easier it gets, and that's kind of the point of this. We got something going on in the live chat. Hvad er grunden for at tale med eller uden inversion, og begge er rigtige? Andreas Pøtker says. Yeah, so basically the question is, why should you use inversion, or when should you use inversion, when you can choose not to? Well, it's because if you start with a conjunction, then the emphasis is different. And you'll hear Danish people say it too. Some people will say, oh, I'm just going to speak without ever using inversion. Now that's going to be weird. Sometimes it's going to come off the most natural to use that. And it's just how you start the sentence. Okay, now here we're moving down to something related to location and also time. This is pretty important stuff. Here means here. That's pretty simple. So here could be something easy like here I stand, or here I see a big monkey, or yeah, let's say something like that. Her ser vi en farlig abe. Sure, why not? Her ser vi en farlig abe. Because it's location. So here ser vi, here we see. I think sometimes in English you also have that. I'm not an English teacher or linguist, but I think there are some cases where it also pops up. And Danish is very important. When it's about location, you have inversion. Her ser vi. Could also be der. Der. Officially you need an accent, but many Danish people don't write it. It's no big deal if you don't do it. Der har vi, eller der har vi. Der har vi min fætter. Der har vi min fætter. Like, there we have my cousin. There's my cousin. Der har vi min fætter. So again, inversion. Her, der, oppe. Oppe i træet. Up in the tree. Oppe i træet sidder katten. Sure, why not? Oppe i træet sidder katten. Up in the tree sits the cat. Or the cat is sitting up in the tree. Sometimes I'm having a bit of a dilemma when to translate this or how to translate this, because the direct translation, the close translation would be up in the tree, the cat sits, or sits the cat. But that's unnatural English, so you would of course say the cat sits in the tree or up in the tree. But you gotta know how to say it in Danish. Oppe i træet sidder katten. Under sofaen fandt jeg en... no, skattekort. That's better. Under sofaen fandt jeg et skattekort. Under the couch I found a treasure map. You could of course also say katten sidder oppe i træet, or jeg fandt et skattekort under sofaen. You can also say that. It's just to give you more options. Like I said before, it's going to be very weird and difficult for you if you always try to avoid inversion by saying the subject first. Jeg fandt et skattekort under sofaen. And that type of stuff. Let's do a few more of those. På bordet. Nah, that one is not so interesting. I morgen, that is interesting and very relevant, because i morgen of course means tomorrow. So that is about time. When you're talking about time, you also have inversion. I morgen kommer han og gør rent. Sure, why not? I morgen kommer han og gør rent. Tomorrow he's coming and cleaning, literally. He's coming to clean the house. I morgen kommer han og gør rent. That's that. Let's do another one every morning. I morgen skal vi rejse. I morgen skal vi rejse. Tomorrow we are traveling, or we have to travel. Right? That's very important. I morgen is something to do with time. I don't know what your personal relationship to grammar is. Maybe you love it, maybe you hate it, but I would recommend you that you at least become okay with it, because it's a bit of a shortcut. When you know at least some grammar, you can learn faster. So, i morgen skal vi rejse. Tomorrow we gotta travel, or we are going to travel. Nice. What about this one? I dag. Let's do it down here in the next page. I dag, of course, means today. I dag så jeg en meget dyr bil. I dag så jeg en meget dyr bil. Today I saw a very expensive car. Right? So that's basically what it is. It's something to do with time, and so is saw. Right? So a literal translation would be, today saw I a very expensive car. And I know that you get the point, you get the logic, the structure, all the rules, they're simple enough, they're understandable, but the question is how you're going to master it, how you're going to remember it, and a lot of that comes from practice, but also rewatching videos like this, not for me, but for you, because then you get it like through your head, like again and again and again and again. I dag så jeg en meget dyr bil. Okay, that could work. What else could it be? I dag har vi virkelig travlt. I dag har vi virkelig og virkelig travlt. Today we are really busy. Right? So that's how you want to say it. Do not say, I dag vi har virkelig travlt. That is weird. Right? Stay away from that. I dag har vi virkelig travlt. Then we have nogle gange, or nogle gange as it's spelled, but Danish people, myself included, we don't bother to say nogle gange. That's very textbook. So, nogle gange, just say it like that. Nogle gange føler jeg mig... We don't need a comma, that's just something for... It's like training wheels. Nogle gange føler jeg mig lidt trist. Nogle gange føler jeg mig lidt trist. Sometimes I feel a little sad. Right? Føler jeg mig. That's that. Og nogle gange siger han nogle mærkelige ting. Nogle gange siger han nogle mærkelige ting. Sometimes he says some weird stuff, or some strange things. Right? Siger, that's the verb. Føler, that's the verb. That's how you want to do it. Of course, you could also say, jeg føler mig lidt trist nogle gange. That's okay. Han siger nogle mærkelige ting nogle gange. That's also okay. Right? So you gotta decide how you want to approach it. Just don't mix them. Please say it the right way. Now, I want to focus on verb inversion. That's what we're doing today. There's one more thing where it's about the verb, but it's actually influenced by the object. Right? Now, this one is not as essential, but I figured that this doesn't take so long, so let's just cover it anyway. This is basically where, when you start with the object, and the object is the thing that you are doing, or the thing or the person that the action is happening to. An example, I just had my sunglasses. Mine solbriller kan jeg ikke finde. Mine solbriller kan jeg ikke finde. I can't find my sunglasses. Now, most of the time, you're not going to hear this one, because you want to focus on the active party. So you say, jeg kan ikke finde mine solbriller. However, there will be times, there will be cases when it is this way, when you start with the object. Like a good example would be if you're listing a lot of things and your different actions or relationships to those things. Brød spiser vi, vand drikker vi. Right? Kind of like that, because, well, missing the V. Bread cannot do anything, water cannot do anything for the most part. Right? So you can see that. Brød spiser vi. Yeah. What if you said something like, brød spiser kongen? Okay. Bread eats the king. That's of course the king eats bread. I'm not just saying that to goof around, but it's to show you how it really works. Okay? Is there anything? Okay, the live chat is still the same for now. Okay, cool. So I feel like that has covered most of it, but I don't think it can hurt to do some more practice. So let's just do that. Let's write maybe some longer sentences and see how you can get this. Da jeg kom hjem fra arbejde, så jeg, at min kat var sur. Okay? Da jeg kom hjem fra arbejde, så jeg, at min kat var sur. When I came home from work, I saw that my cat was mad or angry. Okay, cool. And then let's continue that. Min kat var sur, fordi den ikke havde noget mad. Min kat var sur, fordi den ikke havde noget mad. My cat was mad because it didn't have any food. So in this case, you'll notice that fordi, let's highlight here, fordi is the conjunction and it's in the middle, so therefore there is not inversion. Another way you can look at this is by saying, can this sentence stand on its own? The first sentence, does it make sense on its own, or does it feel incomplete? If I say, min kat var sur, you're gonna be like, yeah, okay, that's legit. It's a finished sentence. Whether or not you want to say something after that is up to you. Like, it's not necessary to complete it. Fordi den ikke havde noget mad, that's an explanation. So yeah, that's basically it. But if I said, fordi den ikke havde noget mad, because it didn't have any food, if that's what I start with, then I gotta finish it, because I don't want to leave you hanging. It's not nice, it's wrong to say, fordi den ikke havde noget mad, eller fordi jeg er glad, fordi jeg er træt, fordi jeg er rig, or anything like that. In this case, just focused on fordi, but it's the same with any conjunction. Then it's incomplete, it is incomplete, and therefore you need inversion. Right? But if the sentence can stand alone, then there is no inversion. Let's do some more examples. Maybe not focus on the cats so much. I feel like I talk a lot about cats. Okay. Jeg satte mig ned. Okay. Jeg bliver altid så glad, når jeg ser, at der er is i køleskabet. That's long. Køleskabet. Jeg bliver altid så glad, når jeg ser, at der er is i køleskabet. I always get so happy when I see there's ice cream in the refrigerator. Okay? So, again, Jeg bliver altid så glad. Ikke? I always get so happy. You can say that on its own. Yeah, okay, maybe it's gonna sound like you would like an explanation, but it's actually incomplete. Ikke? It's only because the så is there that it's that it might sound incomplete. If I took out the altid, if I just said, jeg bliver glad, I get happy, that's fine on its own. But we add this to make it complete, or to make it longer. Når jeg ser, at der er is i køleskabet. So yeah, it's not really that hard. Is smager godt, selvom det ikke er sundt. I guess I'm a little bit boring for saying that, but it is correct. So, is smager godt, selvom det ikke er sundt. Ice cream tastes good, even though it's not healthy. Okay, so yeah, I guess I should give me a second. I'm moving between tabs here. Selvom, right? Selvom, even though there's no inversion because it's in the middle. But we could also do the opposite. Selvom is, move some words around. Selvom is ikke er sundt, smager det godt. Okay? Selvom is ikke er sundt, smager det godt. Even though ice cream is not healthy, it tastes good. So yeah, and you gotta have inversion here because you start with this. If I say selvom is ikke er sundt, it's gonna be like, yeah, Thomas, then what? That's not the end of it, is it? Like, what's the conclusion? Yeah. So that's really what it is. Right? The question is, do you understand inversion now? Do you feel like it makes sense? Or do you still feel like, damn, this is weird. Why do Danish people do this? You know, we're not doing it to torture you. It just is what it is. But it's a very common mistake for many learners. I suppose we could go back and do a little bit more with time. Maybe it could be something like every day, every Sunday, every whatever weekday. So I could say, hver søndag ser jeg en god film. Hver søndag ser jeg en god film. Every Sunday I watch a good movie. Og hver dag beder han en bøn. Hver dag beder han en bøn. Every day he says a prayer, although literally every day he prays a prayer. Yeah, to pray a prayer. That's weird, right? But that's how we say it. Add be, or be the to pray, and then bøn is a prayer. It is what it is. But the point is good. Beder han. Verb. Nej. Hver søndag ser jeg en god film. Hver dag beder han en bøn. So yeah. Or maybe you could also say hver anden dag. Now what is that? Can you guys guess that? What is hver anden? Hver anden dag spiser hun noget stærkt. Hver anden dag spiser hun noget stærkt. Every other day or every 2 days she eats something spicy. Okay? And again, remember, it's because it has to do with time. Right? You got nogle gange, sometimes. Hver means every. I dag means today. I morgen means tomorrow. I går, let's do i går as well. I går var jeg gnaven. Sure, why not? Og i går så vi en krokodille, because they were cool. I går var jeg gnaven. Yesterday I was grumpy or cranky. I går så vi en krokodille. Yesterday we saw a crocodile. Whoopsa. Alright, there we go. Alright. You could also say something like, let's take a preposition, like i min garage lugter der lidt af røg. Yeah, why not? You could also say lugter det. That's actually optional. I min garage lugter der og lugter det lidt af røg. In my garage it smells like smoke. Right? So it's i min garage because it's a location, and because it's a location you have inversion again. You could also say i sengen fandt jeg en sjælden mønt. I guess this is a very strange scenario, but why not? I sengen fandt jeg en sjælden mønt. In the bed I found a rare coin. A rare coin, okay. So that's interesting. I min garage, or I sengen. Right? Think about what a location is. What about something longer like ved siden af? Ved siden af means next to. Ved siden af mig stod præsidenten. Fancy. Ved siden af mig stod præsidenten. Next to me was the president, or stood the president, and he was standing there. Ved siden af mig. Så i, på, over, under, ved siden af. All these things that have to do with location, that's where you get the inversion. Right? Yeah, makes sense? I know it does. Could also be other things. This is maybe a little bit tricky for some of you. Let's see. Uden din hjælp kan vi ikke gøre det. Uden din hjælp kan vi ikke gøre det. Without your help, we cannot do it. Maybe this is confusing because uden is not really a conjunction. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. But it is. It is an adverb. Right? Be-or, as we call it in Danish. Be-or, bywords. Så uden din hjælp, kan vi ikke gøre det. Og med kaffe og te. You don't need to put commas here. I'm just doing it to highlight this. There's like a split. Med kaffe og te kan vi gøre alle glade. With coffee and tea, we can make everyone happy. Med, with, is also an adverb. Right? Og for at imponere, no, I use that word too much. For at kvalificere sig til finalen, gjorde han sit bedste. For at kvalificere sig til finalen, gjorde han sit bedste. In order to qualify for the finals, the final match game, he did his best. Right? For at, så uden, that's an adverb. Med is an adverb. For is an adverb. Yeah. You see, it's all coming together, right? It's actually not that weird. It's not as strange as some people might think it is. It's very, very doable. See if there's anything else I should touch on right now. We got uden, we got med, we got for. Let me think for a second. Selvom, mens, derfor. Yeah, okay, derfor. Derfor is an interesting one. Så, jeg spiser vegansk, someone is a vegan. Jeg spiser vegansk, og derfor er jeg et godt menneske. I want to know, this is not necessarily what I think. This is a little bit arrogant, but somebody would say this. I eat vegan and therefore I'm a good person. Right? Jeg spiser vegansk, og derfor er jeg et godt menneske. So here you also have inversion. Derfor er jeg. Yeah, but derfor is a little bit tricky. It's one of the few that will give you a headache. Because you could also say, jeg spiser vegansk, punctuation. Det er derfor, jeg er et godt menneske. Right? So it depends how you structure it. If you make it in one sentence, and you have it like this, and there's no det, then there's inversion. Derfor er jeg et godt menneske. But if it's two sentences, and you say, det er derfor, then there's no inversion. So I would say derfor is maybe the most annoying of them all, because it defies the common rules. But generally speaking, most of the conjunctions, they're very predictable. Right? It's not really that big mystery, I would say. There's also så. Yeah, I was only going to say this if I felt like there's extra time, but we have extra time today. So så can mean different things. It can mean så, like so, or så. They're like comforting someone. Oh yeah, so I saw. There's many different meanings. But as a conjunction, it could be jeg er træt, så jeg går i seng. Very basic. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. Sure, that's fine. Jeg er træt, så jeg går i seng. Like I'm tired, so I'm going to bed. That's good. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. She's my wife, so she trusts me. Okay? So here there is no inversion. Right? It's like something is the case. I'm tired, or she's my wife, and therefore I do this thing. Right? Så jeg går i seng. Jeg er træt. Okay? Så jeg går i seng. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. Ikke? Hun er min kone. Make sure I said that right. Not jeg er min kone or something like that. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. So that is så without inversion. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So it's okay if you have to watch this twice or if you have to go back. Essentially, the thing is, så can also be like then. Examples. Jeg gik udenfor, og så købte jeg en is. Jeg gik udenfor, og så købte jeg en is. I went outside, like outdoors, and then I bought an ice cream. Okay? So why is the inversion here? Because this så means like then. I did this, then I did that. Jeg gik udenfor, og så købte jeg en is. Og jeg tog et bad, så lavede jeg mad. And it even rhymes. Jeg tog et bad, så lavede jeg mad. You can put an O there, but you don't have to. It's a matter of preference. Jeg gik udenfor, og så købte jeg en is. Jeg tog et bad, og så lavede jeg mad. Right? So it's different. This one up here is about reason. I'm tired, so therefore. Ikke? Jeg er træt, så jeg går i seng. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. It's a different use. Very nice. You could also say, it's like a conditional. Hvis kind of gives it away, but you also see så. Hvis du ikke ved, hvordan man gør det, så bare spørg mig. Hvis du ikke ved, hvordan man gør det, så bare spørg mig. If you don't know how to do it, then just ask me. Ikke? But you might also see this without the hvis. Har du problemer, så kontakt mig. Har du problemer, så kontakt mig. Do you have problems? Then contact me. Now actually there is no if in there. Isn't that tricky? Maybe that's annoying for you, but that's how it is. Eh? I guess you also have that in English. Eh? Kind of like, any problems? Just call me. Har du problemer? Så kontakt mig. You will see sometimes the conditional without this. Right? It's okay if you haven't quite discovered that yet, but you will discover it sooner or later. The point is, there is inversion. Right? Så kontakt mig. Yeah, I don't think there is much more to say. I think that we covered most of it. Now, of course, there is also adverb inversion, where in a what's it called, secondary clause, right? That's what's called. You switch the position of the adverb and the verb, but I'm not going to get into that today because I want to keep it focused. So today was about verbs, like verb inversion. And like I said, it's not really that hard. You just got to get used to it. And once you're used to it, you got to keep exposing yourself to it. Right? Because I have students who understand the rules, but then when we talk, like free conversation, because it's important to have that kind of practice, then a lot of the time it's like oops, inversion mistakes, right? Because it's not internalized. You can understand something, but you got to internalize it. And one of the ways to do that is to watch movies. I talked about it before. Watch movies, or of course watch my videos, listen to podcasts, read books, yada yada. There's like a bunch of things you can do, but you need a lot of exposure. It's not just about understanding the language, it's about absorbing the language, being exposed to it, so it's always in your head, right? Because then you don't have to like pick it up. It's like it's always there, and Danish becomes more natural for you. Understanding grammar is important. I've said that in this video and many others, but it's also important that you have a lot of vocabulary and just a lot of sentences in your head, and because you always listen to Danish or you always read it or something is going on. So that's a little pep talk towards the end that I feel like you all could benefit from. Now let me just check up on the live chat. Okay, so something was retracted. Oh yeah, we got one, the very first one. Vatan Parvavo Kat Makas saying finally video camera. Yeah, thanks man, I guess that is a man's name. But this is not the first time. This is like the 4th time this year I'm doing it. But yeah, I'm glad you noticed. Okay then, Misala Jukrich. I feel like an idiot when I can't pronounce these names. That's a nice little sticker. Then Dimitrius, okay, retracted the message. Kunne hver dag hente mine børn fra børnehaven. Yeah, that's right, and that is correct inversion, because hver dag is every day. Right? And the next one also by Kubor, om fredagen, because that has something to do with time. Om fredagen spiller jeg fodbold. That's the way you do it. And Andreas once again saying, jeg tror et vært, that's how you say it, har sin egen inversion. På tysk kan vi også begynde sætning på den ene eller anden måde. Yeah, I don't know, man. I remember German classes when I was in school. I no offense to the country or the language itself, but I kind of hated it. I really didn't like learning German. The grammar drove me crazy. But yeah, every language has its own thing, you know, like something that is just annoying. In Spanish it's the verbs. In Japanese it's actually Japanese grammar is kind of cool. I like it. In Danish it's inversion. So it depends what it is. Whether it's a matter of adjectives, about genders. Yeah, there's always something tricky going on. And then Sidney Dyer putting a lovey-dovey sticker. That's nice. Yeah, guys, so that was it for today. Like I said before, I really like doing this format where we're in the document, you can see me, and I don't have to do it by slides. I feel like slides, I mean, they're very effective, and I made a bunch of those videos over the past 3 years, but they're a bit impersonal, you know. I feel like this is more intimate, if you will. So yeah, it's really good, and I got more good stuff coming up for you, no doubt. Also, a regular reminder, the website, put this back on, the website danishmastery.com, that is the place, that is where you get it all, the videos in their, you know, full length and no ads, and yeah, it's so big. I don't want to do a very long speech about it today because I've done it before, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and bonuses as well. One of the bonuses is that you get access to these documents, you know, like not just here you see it in the video, but you can actually download it, and that's also good for when you're studying on your own. So yeah, a lot of stuff. And another thing, next week there's gonna be something different. I'm kind of excited about it. The video next week, maybe the week after that, is gonna be me doing a lesson, like a live lesson on Google Meet and the platform, where I think just one person, maybe two, let's see how it goes, will receive a lesson by me, you know. We'll sit and read some text, maybe have some conversation, look at some grammar, depending on the needs of the student, and then it's gonna be broadcast directly to YouTube. Now, I haven't done it before, so I don't know exactly how it's gonna be, but that's exciting, right? It's something new. So I'm gonna do that next week, and if you're interested, you know, you can reach out. You can do it here on YouTube in the comment section, or my email address, which I post in many different places. It's danishmastery@gmail.com, and yeah, reach out, because it's free. It's free, but you are going to be broadcast. It's going to be an interactive lesson shown on the channel. So that should be really interesting, because I haven't really done that, not fully anyway. So that should be interesting, and I think it could be good for other learners, that you also see someone that you can identify with, how they're, you know, struggling and learning, you know, taking notes and improving. So yeah, that'll be really, really cool. Let me know if you're interested. You know, you can all text me, and then we'll see who I can fit in or how it's gonna work. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that more than once. I think that was about it for today. There's a lot of cool stuff, always something nice. Yeah. Alright guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna take off, and I'll see you soon. Peace.